So this video is about integer subtraction. So let's review integer subtraction with models. So first of all, I'm going to look at my terms, and I have a positive 3 because there's nothing to the left of the number. So I automatically say that's positive, and then a negative 9 because this negative is attached to the 9. And so I would show 3 positive, and I can predict that the answer is going to be negative because I've got more 9 of negatives and only 3 of positives. So but let's go ahead and model to show this. So these are all negatives, and then I'm going to do my 0 pairs. These make 0, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, negative 6. So I was right. I predicted that I was going to be negative. So this one, I'm going to say I've got negative 7, and I've got a negative 7, and I'm combining it with a negative 5. So since I've got 2 negatives, my answer is definitely going to be negative. And by how much, I can draw a model to determine that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 5. And so I've got all negatives, and so my answer is going to be negative 12. Now this last one I'm going to do on a number line, and I'm going to look at it first. I'm going to say I have a negative 4. And then this minus a negative 1 is add the opposite, so it's a big plus. And so I'm going to show on my number line, and I'm going to predict that my answer is negative because I've got 4 negatives and only 1 positive. So let's say it's negative. I'm going to start at 0, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left because it's negative. And so that's negative 4. And then I'm going to add 1 because this is positive 1. So the 1 needs to come this way, plus 1 or minus a negative 1. And that comes down, and that's 1, 2, 3, negative 3. So I was right, my sign is negative. So now, looking at this, I want you to look at these problems, and you're not solving them for a specific number. You are just deciding, based on what's there, whether the answer would be positive or negative, just to give you an idea of where to start. So again, we're not getting an exact number, we're just determining whether the answer is positive or negative. So whenever you come back, you can check your work. So let's look at this. I have circled the integer black for positive and red for negative. So in this, I've got a negative 32 and a positive 17. Well, if those 0 pairs go to war, I'm going to run out of positives before I get to negatives, so my answer is negative. And here, I've got a positive 19 and a negative 36. So as those 0 pairs go and line themselves up, I'm going to run out of black and I'm going to have red. And here, all I have is positive, and all I have is positive. So of course, my answer is going to be positive. So this is a good way to look at it to make sure that your answer is correct and makes sense. So let's practice how you would do this. If I have a negative 11, that's negative, and I'm combining it with a negative 4. So 11 plus 4, those are the same sign, so I'm adding them all up. 11 plus 4 is 15, and it's going to be negative because they're all negative. Now let's look at this one. We've got 2, which is positive, and 7, which is negative. Okay, So we look at this and we say 7, I'm going to have more negatives than positives because I'm going to run out of positives before negatives. So my answer is negative. So I look at 2 of these negatives are going to match up with 2 of these positives. So that's going to leave 5. And if you look at it, the difference between -7 and 2 is 5, and it's 5 negative. Now this one, you have to remember to subtract a negative is a positive. And now I have +8 and -6. So I'm going to look at these terms, and my 8 is bigger and it's positive, so my answer is going to be positive. And it's going to be more by 2. It's going to be positive by 2. Because these are going to line up and they're going to zero out, and I'm going to have 2 black left. Now this one, these are both negative, so it becomes a big positive. This is positive, this is positive, so I'm just going to combine those as if it were a addition problem from elementary school. 4 plus 12 is 16. So you can see, depending on how big your negative is, whether you're going to be positive or negative. But if you've got 2 negatives, you're going to be negative. If you've got 2 positives, you're going to be positive. So now it's your turn to do these problems and see if you're understanding this, and to practice, and then come back and see how you did.